And I'm super excited because Ann is here today, and she should be coming on any second. Ann, where are you? There you are. I see her coming on. Oh, Ann, we're not seeing you. There you are.
Hey,
Hey, girl.
how are ya?
Good. Did you hear the applause? Did you hear the
Oh,
applause?
that's great.
Listen, we are so excited. First of all, congratulations on what I believe is your second icon. Is that not true?
It is.
Yeah, congratulations. I loved it when I saw that announcement yesterday. We're really proud of you, happy for you. And, listen, it's been great. We've been working together now for just short of 2 years. And I've watched just so much change and all the things you're doing up there. Talk to us a little bit about, where were you and how did you get to EXP? What was your journey?
Yeah. So I'm going to be hitting my 20th year in real estate next February. And about 2 years ago, before we moved to EXP, having a really successful career, small team, doing around close to 100 deals a year, give or take, depending on the year. And I was actually turning 40 and I was like, man, like life goes by so fast and I can't believe I've been in it this long. And I was starting to ask myself these questions internally, like, well, am I just going to only sling houses for the next decade of my career or so? And not that that's a bad gig. I love real estate. It's been so good to me and my family. But you think about, well, would you open up your own brokerage? Would you do anything different? Would you grow a bigger team? I'd kind of grown a bigger team and I wasn't really I just didn't want to get super big. That never was my big goal. And I was wanting balance in my life more and just kind of do I buy more rental properties? Like most of us are kind of approaching that mid-career moment or so. You want to make smart choices because you look at retirement or options to retire or slow down or I don't know, just do life differently, and I felt like I'd hustled most of my career in real estate pretty hard. So I saw the EXP model and what instantly hit me was the stocks. Because I love stocks. I've bought stocks. My husband gets stocks at his technology company. And so my husband's always asked me this question. I've never been able to intelligently answer it, which was, why do you pay your real estate brokerage thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a year? You're still paying for your own marketing, your own advertising, your own rent, your this, your that. He never understood that. And I was like, well, because I'm going to hang my license with somebody. That's just what you do, and there's kind of a sense that, yeah, you're going to get something out of it. You do. But I couldn't really articulate why we did pay him so much money. And then when EXP's model came along and I saw the stocks, I was like, you know what? I would icon every year. Had I been with EXP the last, 18 years of my career, holy smokes. I don't know where I would be today because I've only been with EXP now for 2 years and I have over, $100,000 of stocks. And I essentially just did what I do, which is sell real estate. I didn't have to go invest in a bunch of stuff I didn't understand. I'm selling real estate, and so I tell agents there's this setup here at EXP that is very likened to, so I think realtors get a little uncomfortable with this because they think there's a catch. They think there's something that well, what's the deal here? How is that sustainable? Let me share with you, this is set up very much like a corporation. My husband works at Intel. He gets stocks. Some of them vest, some of them he can have right away. It's the same exact model. If you go to any Fortune 500 company and they're giving you stocks for working there, that's part of your overall compensation package is what they call it. This is kind of the same thing. So when you're looking at brokerages, you got to look at it like a business. Okay, oh, by the way, you're also like a sports team, sports teams, they, when a sports team guy moves, it's because usually they're offering more money. It's not because they're maybe they're there because they're loyal, but for the most part, a lot of these guys are yeah, I'd rather, be at a company that is giving me more. If somebody's going to pay you more, you typically look at that as something. And I also looked at I saw at our old brokerage that they had this huge facility that they had built out, and they had such a hard time getting bodies in the door. They had a hard time getting realtors to show up for office meetings. to utilize the rent and the open spaces. Like agents just weren't coming in and they really struggled with that. And I was there a lot, but I was like, man, people just don't come into the office hardly at all. And so I was seeing that change. So when the model showed up, I was like, well, everybody's heading online. I buy Amazon stuff all the time. I buy my groceries a lot online. Like all these services are popping out of the woodworks now because they recognize that's how consumers are. And then here we are in COVID, and it just makes me laugh because I'm like, this is what's happening. Like we're all going. And then I've talked to so many brokers during this COVID time, and they're like, yeah, I don't go in the office anyway. I sure don't go now. And it's just, this is kind of where things are heading anyway. So I saw the future of real estate with the platform model. I saw you could get all these services at your fingertips. Then they do the stock, package that, you get stocks for different milestones. And I think it's really cool because even if you're not an icon agent, if you're not in a production level to hit that, a lot of brokers feel like, okay, I'm going to get in, I'm going to increase my business, and I'm going to go hit icon. Like it's something you can strive for. Like when I was a younger agent, I would have loved to have that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, right? Everybody says, wish I had joined 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 8 years ago. And I think, one of the things you alluded to, and I really want to hit this because, I've heard people say it's too good to be true. And yet, clearly it's true, right? And it's true, right? And then the second part is it's the biggest no-brainer I've ever seen. And I will tell you that, when I hear you talk about in 2 years, you've got an extra $100,000 on top of, just your normal commissions, the things you would do for doing what you do as a realtor. And that's what John was referring to. It's like, gosh, guys, you're already going to do it. You're already doing this. And you're paying Dave Lineker 6% or 5% instead of paying your pocket 5%. And, one thing, Ann, that you made me think of, and I really want to hit this because, I remember meeting you. I knew, I had heard of you for a couple of days because we were going to be meeting. But I remember meeting you and thinking about, these people that were so loyal to the company where they were and loved it. I mean, for the most part, we were meeting all these people and you guys all loved your company where you were. I mean, there was that thought, like, what am I going to do next? Do I stay there? Is that all there is? But I remember just like, it wasn't people just running from the fire. It was like, we love this company. And I think for a lot of people, it's hard to leave their friends and it's hard to leave their broker. And my broker's been so good to me. And your broker has taken a lot of money, which by the way is business. That's the way it works. That's okay. But if you get a chance, as you said, to pay less and to have more in your pocket, I'm going to tell you that unless you love your broker more than your family, I'd suggest you move. Because it's a big deal, right? I mean, you're changing the history for you and your husband, but you're changing the history for your kids.
Right.
You're really impacting the family that you've built by what your choices are today. And that stock is,
my son's going to be in college in a matter of 6 years. And this could be the vehicle that pays for that. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no doubt. I think it's an amazing opportunity. Well, listen, your icon status is awesome. Let's talk about one thing. How did you find the platform when you got to it? How easy was the platform for you to use? What was the downside? I guess anything there?
Yeah, I mean, we have this great platform where you can take all these oodles of classes. I oftentimes think I don't have enough time in my week to go to all the classes I want to go to. So I sometimes feel like there's all this stuff happening in the cloud that I can participate in. I just am busy to do. I don't know that there's a negative. I would say one of the biggest positives I've experienced that was really telling was that I had some business stuff I had to do in the accounting department with EXP, and it was time critical on January 2nd. And I was in Colorado on vacation, not on Pacific time. And I was sitting having my coffee and I was like, do I stay inside and like wait for everybody to get going at the online office? Or do I go out and like ski for a while and come back in and do it? And I was like, wait a minute, they're already working. And so I hopped into the accounting department and I got my question answered, had it all done within 5 minutes, put my ski gear on and headed on the slopes. That was like, if I was at my last brokerage, I would have had to wait for the bookkeeper gal to come into the office between 8 and 9:30 on a different time zone, kind of work on scanning and doing all that stuff. And I thought, that's really a testament to the ability to get in and get things done. And their time frame is more open than, just my time zone. So I thought that was pretty cool in just that moment. But, you don't usually utilize the office, the cloud office every day. You know, you only use it when you need it. And so you can go in there anytime, get things answered. I like the efficiency of it because I like to hop on my computer, get a question answered, and move on with my day. I don't want to have to drive to an office, go make time to talk to somebody about, you know, hey, did my stocks, you know, get squared away from last month, or, you know, hey, what about this or that?
Right.
So, I mean, is it a perfect company? No, it's, you know, there's still little kinks. The growth part we knew going into this, everyone told us it's like a startup company. There's tons of growth. You're going to have to, you know, withstand some bumps and some changes. And we did. And I just knew that going in with that expectation. And it's been fine for me because I had that expectation. And a lot has changed since we came on 2 years ago. I mean, it's a whole new company practically. And they still have a ways to go. I mean, there's still things that, you know, they're working through because growth shows your pain points, you know, and you've got to anticipate for that. So, but I'm okay with that. You know, like I operate how I'm still out there selling real estate, doing my thing. The last brokerage was at, they also had their pain points. So
Exactly.
It's just one of those things where everyone has to realize like no brokerage has it all perfect and dialed in. You just have to go in saying, what's the big picture? Like what do you want for your life and your future? And does this fit that goal? And for me, that, you know, EXP checks those boxes. So
It's
been
funny.
fun. It's been fun to see it grow and be a part of it.
Absolutely. It's fun because you said there's no such thing as perfect. You know, if it involves people, it's going to be imperfect, right? It's just, we make mistakes or stuff that goes on. I just heard from Dave Liniger. I didn't hear from Dave Liniger. I heard from, that's pretty funny. I just heard from Dave Kennard the other day, the president of the company. He said that as of the last day of the month, we were something about 800 agents above our projected for the increase.
Wow.
So our projection was high, and this was 800 agents above our projection, and we're fine. We're handling it all. But it was just, you can imagine the pressure points, right? I remember the perfect storm when you guys came in. But you know, so Ann, let's kind of. I said, what's the downside? Because people always want to know what's the hard part, what's the best part, what's the best part for you?
You know, for me, I'm kind of a non-traditionalist in that, like, I get this model and I understand it, and I understand that, you know, real estate is evolving so fast, and there still is a part of it where there's a lot of traditionalism in our business, but it's changing so fast. And so for me, I feel one of the best parts is like, I know that certain little things about EXP can, you know, be a challenge for people to navigate when they first come over, or when they have to understand, like, this is a different model. But this model is going to serve you as an agent far more than staying at a brokerage and them not facilitating, you know, your financial future or your ability to do what you want to do. You know, I talked to an agent the other day who was like, oh, I don't want my branding to be like everybody else in the office, like forcing you to look just like everybody else. EXP gives you the evolution of saying you can be who you want to be, how you want to brand, and you can evolve as a business owner. I feel like I'm a business owner inside of this company, you know, because it allows you to be who you are. So it's just that the best part is it's a rocket ship that's going fast. It's fun to see it grow. I've met people I would have never met had I had not joined EXP. It's been fun just to be a part of that, and then still do real estate, you know, and when you check your stocks and you look at what's happening, it's like, how can this not be what every realtor really wants for themselves? You know,
No.
I mean, if you want a career in real estate, this is where you should be.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm gonna play on that. You said it's a rocket ship. We got all kinds of analogies. John Morrison, you keep whipping that horse. You keep telling me we're on the winning horse. I love that. You know, he said, hey, listen, when you got secretariat, all you got to do is hang on, not fall off. And I think that's really the case, right? And you just strapped in and said, let's go. And I love the fact you said you're a business owner. You know, there's not another company. I could even say small. I mean, you might have a broker who goes, hey, why don't you be my partner? But there's not another company of any size where they're going to say, hey, why don't you partner with us?
Yeah.
Why don't you be partners in our business? Why don't you take some ownership, please? We want to give you ownership so we're all equal. And by the way, we're all contributing to each other. We're all giving to each other. Why? Because we're all one big freaking company set of owners, right?
Yeah.
And I just don't know where else that's happened. It's why I planted my flag. And you know, I was neutral for so many years. You knew me through, you know, my old life. And there was just never a time when there was a company that stood up for the agent that I would have felt comfortable saying, this is it.
Yeah. And I think there's a genuine curiosity in our market that things are changing, and COVID has just fast forwarded that. I went through our EXP roster in Portland last week, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know these 3 agents had moved over, and they were long time agents at like Remax we're talking like 2-3 decades. So, it's interesting because there's something going on in a lot of our psyches. And I had a brokerage owner ask me the other day, like, how's it going with EXP? What do you like about it? And, I think that it is the wave of the future. So.
Yeah. Well, tell your broker friend, and I don't mean this is not an insult. This is purely observational, and maybe because of my 40 years around the business, but I'll tell you this. I believe that if a brokerage is not in some way, shape, or form virtual in the next 5 years, they will cease to be relevant. They may not be gone, but they will cease to be relevant. And they're going to have to figure it out and rehearse and practice and get it good and get it right. And we've got the platforms and the stock and so many things.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say it's a lot easier. Just join up with us. If you've got a brokerage, by the way, or if you know somebody who's got a brokerage, they can bring that brokerage over, keep the name of the company, keep that name. Yeah. We've had over 200 brokerages join this company in the last 18 months.
Wow. That's incredible. Wow.
And we are sure proud of you. We're so excited to be in business with you, and it's sure a pleasure to have you on. Thanks for taking time and sharing some of your story with us, because it's not a presentation. It's like there's real people behind this stuff.
Yeah,
this is the real deal. And John's got his stories, and we've got ours. And if we were to open up the line for more people, they'd have more stories. I mean, there's stories. Mm-hmm. It's happening every single day. John Morrison, I'm going to go to you real quick. Finish this off. What do you got from what's your last closing thought? Oh, you're muted, man. You look good, but you can't be heard.
I wouldn't go there either. I might run these people off. But anyway, I'm saying that the genie's out of the bottle. It's going to happen with or without any of us. So my closing, I'm going to kick it to Ann. Ann, what would you tell somebody looking at this for the first time? What do they need to do?
I would say just jump. Take the risk, take the leap of faith, and move over. And, it's one of those companies I tell everyone, you'll look back in years to come and you'll thank yourself. I mean, 2 years in, I'm like, oh, thank God I did this. Like I can only imagine what 2 years more from now or 3 years more from now is going to look like. And I wished I had this around when I started my career. I look at some of these younger agents who are just getting started. I think, my God, do you have this opportunity to come into this company and do your real estate business and also build up other ways to build your wealth. And I don't know any other company out there that is going to let you do that. And if you wanted to go off and start your own brokerage, you'd have all the liability, all the fiscal responsibility, all the headaches, and this is where it's going. So jump on.
Yeah. And I'll add on that to say, if you're thinking about starting your own brokerage, please call me. I will help you. I will help you make a much better move. And I don't mean just EXP, like just don't do that, right? Yeah. Just don't do that. Great job. And Will Fendon, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. Great having you guys here. I'm not going to mention everybody that's on, but thanks so much, you guys. And you rock. Thanks. Keep it going. Just keep it going, girl. Keep bringing more of the quality people that you've brought to the company, and keep doing what you do, because I want you icon for the 3rd and the 5th and the 12th and the 15th year. And by that time, your son will never have to think about money ever again. Man.